The DEA has shown us there is no end to the creativity when it comes to getting drugs to a market, especially when there's a high demand. The DEA says the uptick in liquid meth being smuggled across the border continues to rise.
But the large loads, let's call them the mega loads, they're coming in. And those are the loads that are on bigger vehicles or loads that are in commercial vehicles.
Dissolved in a solution, sealed in tequila bottles, fuel tanks, or plastic detergent containers. Endless ways to fool agents. According to the DEA, liquid meth is easily smuggled, more difficult to detect, and can be less expensive than in powder or crystal forms.
A lot of methamphetamine being smuggled into the country in liquid form, suspended in liquid, and then it's brought to locations where it's being converted back into a powder, a crystal powder substance for use and distribution.
In the most recent National Drug Threat Assessment, the southwest border is the main entry point of meth entering the United States. Shocking numbers show meth seizures continue to grow every year. Just from 2018 to 19, an increase of 74%. And according to the DEA, they've seen a 348% increase of liquid meth seizures from 2015 to 2019.
The indications of that is that you recall in November, we had the large conversion lab that we seized here in San Antonio. And even recently, within the last 10 days, New York City itself actually found a crystallization lab where they were taking methamphetamine suspended in liquid and recrystallizing it.
While meth seizures along the border are increasing, meth labs across the nation are decreasing. But why? According to the DEA, domestic producers are unable to keep up with the lower cost of meth produced on an industrial scale in Mexico.
Sealed and crystallizing inside a gas tank, a first for Austin. 8 to 10 gallons of liquid meth, which could produce 64 pounds of crystal or powdered methamphetamine worth nearly $3 million. Yet compared to the chemical ingredients smuggled from China into Mexico,
400 or 500 gallons at a time in to create literally hundreds of kilograms of methamphetamine.
In super labs, churning out meth by the ton to keep up with the demand in the U.S. and beyond.
They are able to produce methamphetamine around the clock, every day of the year. There's no growing season.
But there's more to it. This liquid meth seized by federal agents in Brownsville was likely bound for dangerous conversion labs in the U.S.
Using fire, acetone, or gasoline, they actually boil off the flammable solvent that is mixed with liquid meth.
What's left inside that barrel starts to crystallize very quickly, and little crystal shards will pop up all over inside that barrel where it can be scraped out and packaged.
To get every last bit of meth, the process is repeated over and over. The DEA says if it's smuggled in the solvents, there's no telltale odor of meth.
Because it's being masked by the smell of gasoline. It's being masked by the smell of acetone. It's extremely dangerous. It's extremely dangerous for our communities. It's a public health risk.
Jesse Degollado, KSAT 12 News.
There was a noticeable cutout for a secret compartment and a plug on top. Deputies open the plug and take a look inside.
It's all liquid.
A sample tests positive for liquid meth, something the sheriff's office has heard of but never seen.
Once it dries, you can see the white crystallization.
Inside, they found these large jugs containing 75 pounds of liquid methamphetamine. Ayala now facing federal drug charges. If convicted, she faces up to 20 years in prison.
Mexican Navy intercepted more than 19,000 pounds of methamphetamine hidden inside of tequila bottles. Photos from the weekend seizure show a dog alerting inspectors to the drug by sitting on top of one of the boxes. Hundreds of boxes containing over 11,000 bottles of tequila, each mixed with the drug. The liquid meth was intended to be recovered by smugglers and taken to a facility where the drug is extracted and returned to its crystal form.
The drugs were being transported in organic milk cartons, and in one case, a child traveling from California had cash strapped to his body to avoid detection by law enforcement.
You know, this is a total changes the ballgame of how much he has or had.
No, he's gonna do prison time. I don't think there's any way around it. He's a past felon, and if he had a clear background, maybe he could do house arrest or something, get the opportunity for house arrest. But yeah, he's definitely doing prison time if he's convicted of this. And it looks like, I'm sure they have the evidence. Didn't Lawson say that Ben Hill wasn't a drug infested area, that it wasn't true? Now, like, law enforcement can lie.
You get back up in the woods and whatnot, and even to the Wells property, and I've gone over that many times. Don't fool yourself. They were involved. They're involved in some way or another.
Wait, who do you think's involved? Do you think?
Oh no, I'm saying in general trafficking. I'm saying in general trafficking, people that lived on Ben Hill Road.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that, I'm explaining it, and I apologize. I guess I was a little unclear. With the exception of some of the homes that are along Beach Creek in that general area, they were the ones that aren't involved. But once you get up into the hollers, especially Ben Hill, there's trafficking that goes on.
Yeah.
Always has been, no matter what the sheriff says.
Right. And maybe Fred, this whole thing with Fred, it could even be related to Summer and he not even know. Ricky Dale Crawford and Celeste Ann Taylor, 39, same address, were both charged with possession of meth and possession of Suboxone after 2 grams of meth and 3 pieces of an orange tablet were believed to be Suboxone were found in their bedroom. So that's weird because they were later, their charges, his charge was manufacturer dealing, it says manufacturing, deliver, sale, possession. So it's weird that this article says possession, but on the Hawkins County site, it looks like it was, and they were given no bond.
Mm-hmm. Well, the one for probation has got to go before the judge and find out how much time he's going to serve now. And then this other person, from what it looks like, is that they were actually the recipient in the deal. So there's charges that probably, again, have to go in front of the judge.
He drinks spoiled milk on the job, that could probably get you drunk. I've never seen him actually drinking. I've never seen him drink, period.
Oh, you never seen him drink?
I've never seen an empty container at his house. And his wife, she would drink in malt liquor cans, right? But, I've never seen him drink at all. But he was fucked up all the time. So he was just on meth. That's what I believe. Yeah. He had his eyes in so little pupils, and you could just tell he was so glossy. I know it wasn't from the joint.
We all know that Summer Wells went missing, and if you accept what the TBI tells you, it was in the early afternoon. And the last time that anybody outside of her family, and when I mean that, is anybody that lives on 110 Ben Hill Road, that had seen her or seen them with her, was true. H would have been dropped off approximately 2:15. By her, what True said, it was no later than 2:15 because he had to get ready and go to a doctor's appointment, which we find out, if you believe Andrew Hill, his dad, was at 3 o'clock. And I have issues with believing him. That would have put them going back towards, not to, but towards Ben Hill Road and arriving there about 2:30. We're going past there around 2:30. I mentioned that there was a issue, or that I believe that they were runners. They did a lot of running, and I mean a lot, to try to gain favor. That girl, I'm taking a look at what if the interview from the other night where Mary was talking to the lab, and what if she knows something that she's trying to tell us. What if she knows that Summer's alive and that a despicable act of her father selling her happened? The lowest of low moments it would have to be to sell your own child. And that I've referred to the Wells property until the community that's been covering Summer Wells by a couple different phrases. An activity that I've always heard and come to know as a local happened. I've had a certain code or codes of phrases. One of them that I'm discussing and really talking about tonight is why I call it a trading post. In fact, girl, you're right. It is on the news all the time. But how does it affect 110 Ben Hill Road? And crime lines and lies, I'm not ignoring your comment. I have that marked. There's a through Ben Hill Road. Drugs were trafficked through Ben Hill Road. There's a reason why Don says he knows who Playboy is. Playboy's a person in Knoxville. That girl gets it. She just sums up everything I'm saying when I mention Playboy. The one thing I assure everybody tonight, hello BB Diamond, thank you for coming out, is that none of this, if Mary is right, none of this was by accident. Part of the theory of what I believe happened is that there was something more nefarious planned for the 15th, but the sudden illness interrupted and caused everything to change. Was this that incident? What I saw, what I felt, however you want to say it, my intuition, what gut instinct, whatever you want to say it is, was suggesting it would have been so easy to make an exchange at Greenville because it's this little gas station. And when I mean a little gas station, it has a lot of traffic going through it, but most traffic is Greyhound. The most traffic that goes there is Greyhound. You have an Ingles grocery store that is right next door that has its own gas station that more people would go to than this gas station, this convenience store. It would have been so easy to arrange for somebody to be there to meet Summer Wells and go to Knoxville. And that girl, I get exactly what you mean about Andy. I'm just not getting into that. I'm sticking focused on this. It would have been so easy to have somebody meet Summer and take Summer to Knoxville from Greenville if Greyhound was used. Or even if they just did a car-to-car exchange at this point. Nobody would have paid attention. Timed it right for a bus to be arriving. This is the route, if that is true, that Don Wells would have taken to get home. Remember, I said he was not at, I don't believe, and I'll say this, I believe all the evidence points to that Don Wells was not at the Meadows all day on the 15th. I believe in part of the day, whether it be he had to put a work order in or he was calling it a day early or whatever the case may be, he would have been here at his boss's office or home. And then after talking with her, let's be clear on this. If you're at your boss's home, you're still at your job location. That's his office. So he never, ever told a lie in that. But he didn't tell 100% the truth either.
Sometimes the killer be scratching his dang head, and sometimes people just be coming through with info and digging and just blowing the dome right off a killer's head. I gotta pick that motherfucker back up and just put it back on. This, anybody ever heard of this? Liquid milk meth. Known to be transported inside red cap milk jugs. Dangerous, super dangerous to even be around. Man, look, like Hart said, we here to speculate. We're not trying to cause no harm. We're not trying to say, you did this or you did that. Man, but if it stink, it's fucking rotten. I'm tired of playing with y'all. What the hell y'all doing over there in Ben Hill? And is it a possibility y'all making meth milk. And that whole picture and everything is all some kind of payment. Well, what the fuck Don or y'all got yourselves into too deep. Respect to everybody doing that thing. I'm gonna tell y'all, I didn't know about this. I kind of thought maybe in my head there was some kind of form of making some kind of liquid meth, but I sure in the hell didn't know it was meth milk, looking like vitamin D, whole milk, transported in whole milk red caps, because it looks like that kind of milk, that goddamn much. And just about as dangerous as fentanyl to be around. Oh man. Who owes what? We talking heavy money, heavy drugs, and owing. Well, man, my head might be on my ass, but we still don't know who even took the pic, who was talking in the damn recording, and why that girl fell ill or was put to sleep, not to fight, or whatever the situation may be. And now that might not have been milk. Y'all got some grocery store receipts, something? Look, now y'all got to prove the killer. That's even milk. Fucking Twilight Zone. And look, it's out there. That's milk. I'm bringing it to y'all to be a possibility. Maybe it'll end to something, and everything's even bigger than what the hell we thought was big to begin with. I'm gonna scratch my head on this one. Something else.